In this video, we will understand what is service connection and when they are required. As we know in DevOps, for building, testing and deploying our source code, we write CI/CD pipelines, right? That means these pipelines needs to have access to these target environments so that they can deploy the code, right? That means for authenticating these pipelines to these target environments, we have to build a connection from our Azure project to these target environments, right? So that is where the service connection comes into the picture. This service connection helps us to connect to multiple online services so that we can use those connections in our pipelines and do all the transaction. Let's in this case to deploy the code. Okay, now in here, if we consider this example, if we want to deploy this code to Azure web this app services, then we need to establish connection to Azure first, and once we have that service connection um, to Azure, then we can deploy to multiple services which are there in Azure. Let's say we can do it in Azure VM, these app service, uh, and so on. Right now, we'll see how to do that in this project. So I'm in this project. If I go here in where is that? Service connections, create service connection, and here if you see now, these are like multiple options we have to connect. For example, we can connect to Bitbucket, we can connect to Docker registry, GitHub, Jenkins, Maven, and so on. So in our case, I'll select Azure Resource Manager, ARM, and here we'll go with the recommended automatic one. And now it's going to load the subscriptions. Now this is loading on its own because so we have attached our Azure Active Directory to this Azure DevOps. So this our Azure DevOps subscription, the Active Directory subscription which we have, this tenant, this directory is already attached, connected to our Azure DevOps subscription. That's the reason it is able to load the subscription details automatically. So here I go again, here's create service connection, ARM, and here service principal, go next. Okay, so there's a free trial is a subscription, and we can create we can use this existing resource group, and we'll give like Azure connection. Okay, Azure service connection. So in the backend, it is going to register one application in Azure AD, and in the backend it's going to create service principal. We will see that. Now it's setting up the connection here. We can see. Yep. So it has created that. Now if we click here and manage service principal, I'm passing my credentials. Here if you see, it has created this application in our Azure subscription. So this application will be used to authenticate from our Azure DevOps to uh, our Azure. Okay, so now with since we have this connection ready, then we can use this connection in our pipelines to deploy code in these environments, in Azure environments. Okay, so that's it for this video. In next video we will explore more. um, Thank you for your time. See you in next video.